Well, in order to win back the public's trust, foreign policy experts would do well, first and foremost, to hold themselves accountable, to hold members who have advocated disastrous policies like the Iraq War that have been repudiated by the public, to say that that's unacceptable and at least make those people explain why they took the views that they did and make sure that they pay a professional price. It may be a little bit too late for that, but going forward, the most important thing we can do is make sure that there is a robust debate, a real set of alternatives that experts put forward on TV, in op-ed pages and so forth, so that ordinary citizens can decide the merits of the case, and then when they turn to vote for elected officials, those elected officials also reflect real alternatives. So I think we've got to break out of the sense that foreign policy is the preserve of elites only. There are real value judgments at stake when we make foreign policy decisions, just as there are in domestic policy, and we're used to this. People have different values, and therefore it's not for one elite to decide what the right answer is as if they are technocrats and they're flying an airplane. That's not a good analogy for what foreign policy is. It requires judgment. It requires judgment in terms of values and judgment in terms of situations. And that's something where the public does have an important role to play in a democracy. So I think elites need to be a little bit more humble. They can certainly state their views with all the passion that they can muster, but they should do so with an expectation that the public will weigh in and ought to weigh in and judge those views. And from a more structural perspective, it's important to have a greater competition of ideas within Washington, D.C. and in the mainstream media. And frankly, the D.C. foreign policy community not only doesn't represent well the views of the American public, it often doesn't represent well the views of scholars in the academy either. So there is something specific about the set of experts in Washington, D.C. that troubles me.